Prime Minister made a diplomatic mission to the region yesterday. There he is. He was having talks with the Ukrainian president. The UK is going to offer £88 million in aid to support the country as fears of an invasion by Russia intensify. And this is what was said.
Alongside other countries, we are also preparing a package of sanctions and other measures to be enacted the moment the first Russian tow cap crosses further into Ukrainian territory.
Yeah, crosses further is a funny phrase, as if they are already there. The publication of the Sue Gray report on Monday forced the Prime Minister to postpone his call with the Russian President Vladimir Putin until later today. But one of Russia's top diplomats says he doesn't trust British diplomacy. Have a look.
There is always room for diplomacy, but frankly, we don't trust British diplomacy. I think in recent years, British diplomacy has shown that it is absolutely worthless in such issues. This hysteria doesn't stop. It's absolutely happening in the heads of Western politicians and not really on the ground.
The thing is, whether they're laughing at him, that is, I don't know, I can't tell whether when you're told, you're Vladimir Putin, you're told Boris Johnson's on the phone, whether they all laugh.
Well, I mean, the Russians, of course, have also attempted to undermine the American efforts here as well. So I take with a bit of a pinch of salt Putin's representatives in terms of what they're saying. But it is undoubtedly the case that Boris Johnson has weakened our position as a country to be able to take action in situations like this. He was being laughed at by Joe Biden's press secretary the other day. So, yes, you know, clearly there is an issue about our standing in the world, which is really serious.
Do you think that's something we should worry about, Martin? It's almost better for us if Boris Johnson doesn't leave the country.
Well, I think from Boris Johnson's point of view, and certainly his press people's point of view, they'll be delighted to pack him off abroad to get away from the press pack in the UK. And let's face it, an international crisis is often good for the popularity of a standing prime minister or leader. It makes them look like they're statesman-like, it allows them to grandstand. But it is a serious situation out there. And it has a great consequence in terms of things that affect all of us, and that's our gas prices, our central heating. Because Russia controls half of the EU's gas, only 5% of ours. But if they turn off the tap, if we start doing military manoeuvres and they say, well, boof, there goes the gas, wholesale price will go through the roof and all of us will pay.
Well, they have already just because of this. You're right. Let's just have a look. You mentioned the White House, I think Press Secretary Jen Psaki, wasn't it? Was there a little bit of a laugh here? Have a look.
Has he ever been ambushed by a cake?
Has the president ever been ambushed by a cake? Not that I'm aware of.
What his reaction is sort of to this controversy that's been blowing up?
You know, I have not spoken with him specifically about the reports in the UK, but what I can tell you is that he is confident in the important partnership we have with the United Kingdom.
Yeah, there is that little smile flickering around. Obviously, the ambush by cake thing was one of the defences put around by Boris Johnson's friends. I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter, because in the end, this could be the Third World War, so this is more important.
Look, he's right to go. So you asked two questions at the beginning. Is he right to go, and is he a laughingstock? The answer to both of them is yes. But he is right to go because, you know, I agree with Martin. This is an enormously dangerous situation. At the east of Europe, I believe that people's countries' sovereignty and their borders should be protected. And for that reason, it's right that whether it's sanctions or in other ways, we support Ukraine now.
Let's talk to somebody who's an ally of the Conservative Prime Minister. Matt Warman is MP for Boston and Skegness. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
So you support Boris Johnson?
Yes, I do. And I think, as you have just been talking about, it's absolutely right that he gets on with dealing with one of the largest issues facing the world today. This isn't just about gas prices. This is about borders. This is about global security. It's a really important thing to be doing. And I'm glad that he went yesterday.
But with all respect to the Prime Minister, the fact that there were 16 parties in and around Downing Street suggests he's not even in charge of the building he lives in, let alone anything going on elsewhere.
Well, Downing Street is a large organisation, as people like Jackie well know. It is not the Prime Minister who signs off on every single meeting that goes on in that building. But of course, he has apologised for those events that took place because he understands that it is important both to get things right and to be seen to get things right. But that shouldn't detract from the really important issues, whether it is the cost of living, whether it's COVID, whether it's the economy, whether it's Ukraine.
He is to some people a comic character, Matt, you'll probably accept, and he has encouraged that belief with a lot of his antics. And I just wonder whether that means he isn't the right person to be in Ukraine, because for all we know, behind their masks, they're all laughing.
Well, that certainly wasn't the view of the Ukrainian president. It certainly hasn't been the view of other global leaders. So I think we do have to stand back and say the Ukrainians themselves have been hugely welcoming of the endeavours that the UK has made, hugely welcoming of the role that the UK has taken alongside our global allies. I think if you stand back, if you take that position and look at the context, then what you're saying simply isn't right. The Ukrainians understand that this is a globally important situation, and it's right for Britain and therefore the British Prime Minister to be playing a leading role.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt Warman, Conservative MP for Boston, and Skegness, ally of the Prime Minister. Actually, before you go, is he still there? Is he gone? Sorry, one more. Tobias Ellwood, respected colleague, is going to put a letter in to call for the Prime Minister to go.
Well, Tobias has been saying things along similar lines for some time. He's entitled to his view. I disagree, and I disagree because I think if you look at the context of the Prime Minister's record, he's got the big calls right.
OK, thank you very much, Matt Warman, Conservative MP. So there's still people who are very loyal to Boris Johnson. You got calls?
Not everybody would agree with them, though. We're going to speak to Charlotte from Kent now, who thinks Boris Johnson will